Hey everyone, it's Steven from X to Interact. Today we have a special crossover Game of the Year so far episode with Between Two Gamers. It was a lot of fun. We had a few things break while we were recording, so it's going to be only audio recording with some video interstitched if you're watching video of the games. I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
So, Game of the Year is very subjective. It's all about what people like, and some people like completely different things. So this week, we have another crossover podcast between two gamers and X to Interact. So, X to Interact, introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Steven. I'm one of the hosts of X to Interact.
Yep.
I'm Sam.
Oh,
God. I'm Sam. I'm another host of X Interact.
I'm Eric, another host of X Interact.
And I'm Gaffney, the last host of X Interact.
Saving the best for last. And Between Two Gamers, as you know, is me, Liv, and my mans.
Frewy, hello.
Yes, my mans. Okay, so let's talk about Game of the Year. So basically, there's going to be spoilers, I'm assuming. So you got to be okay. If you're listening, there's probably spoilers. So I know Furry's got somewhere to be. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Furry. What is your third game of the year?
See, I haven't got a lot to choose from here because I really haven't played a lot this year. So I've got Godfall on it because I did actually sit down and do that from start to finish. I quite enjoyed that because it was like Destiny but with swords and shields. So you kind of had the Captain America feel to it as well. There wasn't so much to do after you finished the game, but it is definitely one of the prettiest looking games I've played as well.
What do you do in Godfall? What's the general plot line?
Basically, it's kind of like a Disney thing. Think of Lion King. You are the king. You get betrayed by your brother, and then it's like you're going back to take back your kingdom.
But you're a person, not animal.
You kind of neither. You're some weird like you're a god basically is the only way to describe it.
Godfall.
Yeah.
You're a piece of armor, essentially.
Yeah.
And you can change the way you look. Pretty fun game.
So what would you rate that out of 10?
A 7 because there's not a lot to do after.
Oh yeah.
That's the bar for Game of the Year for you?
Like I said, I haven't got to play a lot. I was looking at everything. I was like, everything I played is kind of all right. None of it's been great. And all the good stuff I've been waiting for has been delayed. So it's not made it out in the gap that we've gone from. So I'm like,
Yes, to be eligible for Game of the Year, your game had to have come out from November 20th, 2020 until November 20th of 2021. So all the games we should be discussing is in that time frame. But did anyone else play Godfall?
Fuck. I did. It was... I don't have it anywhere near my top 3. It's fun, but I don't know. It reminds me of Gaff. You'll like this. Bionicles.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I played with my brother. It was a fun co-op game to just kind of, mess around in.
Oh, it's co-op?
And yeah, up to, I think, 3 people?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay, yeah. But yeah, it was just me and him that played together. But yeah, it's a fun game. But yeah, not a lot to do at end game. There was a very, very buggy in our experience. But it is very pretty. I will give him that.
Brewy, did you play on PS4, PS5, or PC?
PS5.
Nice. Okay.
All right. We're starting off with a very weak game for Game of the Year because Frewy doesn't have time. Who wants to go next and try to top Godfall for their number 3 pick?
Okay, I'll go. This one's not bad, but again, if I wish I played more games this year. Persona 5 Strikers. That's my number 3. And as a recent Persona fan since like last summer, I was really into the spinoff. I thought it was a worthy continuation of Persona 5 regular, not Royal, unfortunately. But I loved seeing my crew again. Like, I don't know, have you guys played Persona?
Very long JRPG, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
You make friends in the regular games. You make friends, and your bonds with your friends kind of determines like how strong they are. So friendship is a very important theme in these games. So naturally grow attached, and all the games end at the end of a school year, or as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong. So Persona 5 Strikers picks up in the summer. Everyone's on vacation, and you meet up with your friends again, and it's a nice reunion. And I just loved hanging out with them again, hearing their voices and fighting shadows and kicking ass. And it's a nice, short, fun story.
So Strikers is a Musou game, correct?
Yes, it's a nice fusion of that and regular Persona mechanics. Surprisingly, I thought it was a very nice blend. It's exactly how I imagined fighting with actual personas would be like, instead of being turn-based.
Right. No, and these are, how big are the enemies on screen? Is it typical for those type of games?
Yeah, there are a ton. Which, if you're playing on Switch, boy, is it torturing the little guy. That's what I played it on. I wish
Like
I had a
most games
PS5.
are.
Absolutely. I wish I had a PS5 to play it on, to play in that nice 60 FPS. But I didn't. But still, it was pretty cool playing Persona like on my couch, just sitting, having the Switch in my hands, and then when I wanted to, just put on the TV. It was still a nice experience.
What would you rate it?
8, strong 8.
Strong 8. Okay. Did anyone else play Persona or want to talk about their game for number 3?
Yeah, I also played Persona 5 Strikers. It's also on my list. My fellow podcast mates could probably guess what number it is, but I'm gonna leave it up to speculation for now. But yeah, basically the same thing as like Gaff said. Like, it was nice to get together and like see these characters again. Like a little bit later in life, it was like kind of like a few months afterwards, after the original game, and like see them go on summer vacation. They like go around all of Tokyo on a road trip vacation, so you get to see like a lot of landmarks and stuff. And obviously they get pulled back into like their to their hijinks, which they go back into the metaverse due to like some people around the country having their hearts change or whatever. So if you play Persona, you know what that means. And they're basically getting framed by the police of them doing it, so they have to go and clear their name. But at the same time, like they're also enjoying their vacation while doing all that stuff, and it feels like really wholesome to like see these characters again, with not as much pressure as in the original game, because the original game had like a lot more stakes, I would say. But and then at the end, like I feel like you feel sad to say goodbye to them when they're leaving each other again, and I'm like, man, I want more. But all good things come to an end, unfortunately. And fortunately, this game is not as long as the original. Like the original, when I first played, it took me like 105-ish hours, I would say. This one's more like 50-ish hours. It's not as bad. And then I played this on PlayStation 4 because I played that demo back in the day when they released it in Japan, and it was fine. But I was like, nah, I want it in 60 frames per second on the PlayStation, so I played it on there.
Very strong opinions on Persona.
Yeah, and I bought 2 copies, so that's how you know.
Oh no.
I wonder where he's putting that game later. Would you like to say what your number 3 game is then?
Sure. So I kind of feel the same as a bit like Fury. I mean, I guess I played more games than him, but like honestly, to me, I don't really feel so strongly about this year. Like, even though we'll get to my number 1 later on, but number 3 right now is Psychonauts 2, and I played that on an Xbox Series S. So obviously that's a platformer from Double Fine. It's like a collectathon-ish where you go inside people's minds and you see like their perception of the world, I guess you would say, and like their fears and like their like one level has someone with a gambling addiction, and you have to go in and fix that addiction because you caused it earlier when you went inside her mind earlier. and like just like the entire level, it was like a casino with like all these with like all these neon lights. But with the catch is she also worked at a hospital before then, so like it's a mix of a hospital and a casino. And one of the areas is what is it called? Those spinning boards. What are they called?
Roulette.
Roulette board. Yeah, it's a roulette board, and these two patients are spinning it to try and get a baby, but it's rigged against them so they don't get a baby. So you have to go in and fix it. And it's like there's a lot of weird stuff in this game, yeah. But it's so unique and so like colorful. And there's another level where it's a if anyone knows, it's the Psy King level, where it's like
It's a music festival.
Yeah, music fest. That's the word I'm looking for. Where it's like bright colors and like a lot of psychedelic shit. And
I think Woodstock with all of the drugs.
yeah, exactly.
That is
So,
what
like-
Woodstock is.
So these levels are like really creative and colorful, and it's like a really unique game where you just go inside people's minds and like try to fix them. And like they like take it like they do it very well, where before you go in their mind, your main character Raz asks if it's okay to go in their mind. So like you're not really like invading their privacy without the masking. And it's like a really colorful, and like I know I'm like saying colorful a lot, but it's a really unique game. There's like a lot of funny dialogue in there too. Like the characters are well written. There's one joke that I laughed at a lot, where basically you meet up with your dad, and he's practicing his like fire powers, because you're also a psychic, and he's practicing it, and you tell your dad like, hey, try to think of something hot, and he's like, okay, I'll think of your mother then. And it was like really funny, got me out laughing. And I 100%ed this game because it was just like so like really charmful and unique and really funny. And Double Fine, they did good work with this game after how many long years since the first game?
15, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, the first game was on the original Xbox and PS2, and I played that like when I played like back in June before this game, and it still kind of holds up. The last level was kind of bullshit, to be honest, but this game doesn't have as much as bullshit in the first game.
Stop right there. The last level of Psychonauts 1 is not kind of bullshit. It is the definition of bullshit. It is awful, and I hate it.
oh, I really thought you were gonna go the other way when you're like, hold on.
No, it is utter nonsense. The last level of that game has like a fucking escort mission that is just so annoying. Ugh.
So Eric,
Yeah,
what
I
would you
don't
rate
know.
that game out of 10?
I would give it, like, for me personally, a solid 8. I know a lot of outlets out there give it high praises, and I kind of agree with them. There was some things I didn't like. Like, after you finish the game and the story, I feel like there's a few things that like they didn't really mention, but other than that, it's fine for me.
Okay, who wants to go next? Sam, Steven?
I will, because I don't want to go last.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
My number 3 started as a Skyrim mod, but then turned into a full game. It is called The Forgotten City. It is a time loop mystery, like adventure, like narrative adventure game. You don't really like. There's slight combat, but not much. It's really only in like within 10 minutes of the game. There's real combat. And you can actually skip the mission, because it gives you a little warning if you don't like action. But yeah, it's set in like a city of Roman influence, and there's like the whole city is trying to follow this rule, and it is the many shall suffer for the sins of the few. So if anybody breaks the rule, it's called the golden rule. If anybody breaks the rule, everybody in the city is turned to gold. And then more people, and this you find out throughout that this process is repeating itself over and over again. More people are mysteriously taken from their normal lives and find themselves in the Forgotten City. I really don't want to say too much more about the plot, because that is the entire game, is just like figuring out what is actually going on, and it is fantastic. I cannot believe this is my number 3 pick. 2 weeks ago, I thought this was going to be my number 1, easy. But it is not. It is my number 3. Yeah, man, it is so good. A lot better than the other time loop game I played this year called 12 Minutes. Just throwing that out there. If anybody has that on their list, yeah.
So I would assume you're gonna rate this a 10 then.
Not a 10. Not a 10.
Ooh.
I wouldn't go so far as put as a 10, but I would say a solid 9. I think all my games are like solid 9s.
Mm.
I all love them very, very much. But this does hold a little special place in my heart because it did start as a Skyrim mod. So
I heard you own a lot.
I very much enjoyed the mod when I played it. I don't know, a few years ago. Yeah, it's my number 3.
Okay.
So I guess I'll go for my number 3. I chose The Artful Escape, and I played a mix of Xbox and PC. I know I had mentioned this earlier, so it's not super big of a surprise for you guys, but for me, it's a big surprise because it's not typically a genre I get into. Kind of like a walking simulator. I like platformers, but this is the main interaction in this game. So you play as Francis Vendetti. Now he's living in the shadow of his uncle, I believe Johnson Vendetti, who's a folk music player. He doesn't like folk music, right? And he's pretending to like folk music to impress people around him. And this journey starts off by you being abducted. Spoilers, I guess. You go on I don't know how really to describe it other than trippy space odyssey, rock odyssey, with, I want to say, some of the best sound design and visuals to complement the sound design in unison I've seen in a game in a long time. That's what this game's strengths are. So I put it here, one, because the message and how it unfolds throughout the whole game is really special to me, as everyone has these expectations for him, and he's afraid to accept that he's not the person they want him to be. And yet he goes through and proves that, hey, it's not a bad thing to be this person that I actually am. And actually, this person that I am was awesome. But other than that, the visuals just, they're so unique. And for their first game, I can't believe they made it look this pretty and amazing sounding. Not to mention the incredibly stellar like voice casting. Lena Headey being one of the call-outs there. I can't remember who voices there's a guy who's like late in his prime and he's trying to recapture his youth essentially, and so by proxy he's using you to recapture, like, hey, I was awesome before and now I have to hand it down to this guy, is essentially how it happens. But
Steven, that is the wonderful voice of Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, there we go. Yeah, and so I don't know, I just think it's really beautiful. The soundtrack was amazing. The main interaction, if I didn't explain before, is you shredding on your guitar, which is really cool. And I don't place this number 1 because the gameplay wasn't anything to call home about, but it did complement it pretty well. Did anyone else play this real quick?
I played the first like 30 minutes. I haven't been able to go back to finish the rest of it.
Yeah, I just think it belongs at number 3 for that reason. But
what would you give it out of 10?
I would give it honestly, I'd give it like a 9. It's not perfect, and it leaves some things to be desired in terms of combat, but everything else is the full package as far as like visuals, sound, and level design and characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm gonna go back and finish this one. The art style is incredible. It looks beautiful.
I think you should. If you're even remotely interested, I think you should finish it. It gets better as you go. So
yeah, it's Annapurna, so gotta love them. Free, if you have to leave soon,
Yeah, I think
you might
as
as well
do
go
number
ahead.
2.
Yeah, do number 2.
So again, my lineup's not strong at all. My number 2 is going to be Biomutant because it's like one of the very few games I've actually managed to finish.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate
like-
the inclusion.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not a fantastic game, but it's a nice long game. The customization in it's really cool. The fact that you can start a war or end a war with one decision is pretty cool. And the fact that the way you fast travel in the game is by peeing up posts to use later on.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so because you're one of these things, basically. So when it comes to unlocking fast travel points, most games it'd just be like go to this place and like start a fire. This one you literally have to urinate on a post, and that activates your fast travel.
You're marking your territory.
Exactly. Just go around, spray and pray.
Nice.
But
Man,
I give it, like, considering the size of the studio that made it, it's very pretty again, much like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. I'll give it like an 8, but again, it is one of them that the further you get in, it don't half get repetitive. But each big boss is very different as well, which was quite nice considering like just the base combat and stuff is really repetitive. When it comes to a big boss, you have to like die once or twice to figure out its pattern, and then you can go at it like that.
So I feel like they fixed a lot at post-launch, correct?
Yes, they did.
And that did that shift your score a little bit?
To be fair, I was lucky. I didn't have any issues with it at launch. So it didn't really affect it. Or not for me personally, but I know a lot of people have decided to go back in and try it again, considering some of the problems that they had.
Okay.
The
Um,
internet was not kind to this game, so I am shocked any of us are mentioning it here today.
Again, it's just because I don't get a lot of time now.
Understandable.
I had this game in my Steam wish list for, I swear, like 5 years.
Yep.
And it just
Waited.
kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And it's just like, oh my God, when is this game ever coming out? And honestly, I can't believe it did come out. So I'm just happy it did. I haven't played it, but
I mean, it's on offer now, so it's well worth a go.
They maybe
Yeah.
got a touch too ambitious. That's probably what got them there.
Yeah, I think it was only like maybe 30 people tops contributed to that game. So considering how big it is,
yeah, that's pretty
it's all-
impressive.
yeah.
Guess I'll go next then. My number 2 is a game that technically came out last year, but it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I love this game because I love aviation. Because of some childhood stuff. I've always been fascinated by it. And the scope of this game is just unparalleled because it's literally the entire Earth in this 90 gig package, which is nothing to scoff at, but it's the entire Earth. And you can find, like everyone says, your own house in the game, which is the first thing I did. And it's there. It's a very low poly representation of where my house would be, but there is a house exactly at my address. And of course, when you pull back and you look at whole cities, the cities look beautiful. Looking at Toronto, looking at Cape Town, Hong Kong, like it's all there and it's beautiful. And the planes, they work how they're supposed to, but if you're not ready for that yet, then you can turn on the assists and just have a good time cruising through the air. But I've had a really good experience learning all the controls, how to do startup, even from the parking lots in the airports, how to taxi my way through a runway. So I would give this game like a 9.9 out of 10, and it's only missing that last decimal because I was trying to do an achievement where I have to complete this like 8-hour bush flight, which is you have to do this route without any sort of navigation aid or map. Well, no, you get a map, but you don't get a compass to point you which direction to go. But I did it. I did the whole 8 hours, and the achievement didn't pop, and that really pissed me off. So there's definitely some technical issues with this game. So that's why it doesn't get the perfect 10.
Okay, so I
Oof.
played it. I'll chime in a little bit. I played it a little bit. It doesn't make my top three. Um, I think mainly because I just didn't get the controls as much. I didn't spend enough time getting into it, right? And I didn't want to short change myself and just like skip all of that and just do all the assists because that's how I am. I don't like to take shortcuts, right? So had I maybe put more time in it, I could definitely see myself putting it higher up there because you're right. The visuals are just second to none as far as any aviation game goes. Representation of the planes, I feel like I'm in the plane, especially when you go to cockpit view. Some amazing stuff. I definitely would say if you are trying to play this with keyboard and mouse, please don't. Do yourself a favor, get a flight stick, or at the very minimum, a controller with as much buttons as possible to help with that. I really liked it, and I echo a lot of sentiments you said about it because I did go on some of the tours, even though I crashed eventually.
I am terrible at this game. I crashed pretty much immediately.
Yeah, there's a learning curve.
That was with mouse and keyboard, though, to be fair. To
And,
defend myself a little bit.
Eric, do you want to do your number two?
For sure. So I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who played this, but it's Neo: The World Endless You. I played this on PS4. If you guys don't know what this game is, it's a RPG developed by Square Enix, and it's a sequel to a 2007 Nintendo DS game. So yeah, it's a long time ago. So the game, if you don't know what it is, again, it takes place like in a recreated and stylized version of Shibuya. Basically, what happens is you're playing this game called the Reaper's game, and it's a 1 week competition. In where, spoiler alert, you're dead already in the real world. So basically, you're playing this game to have a chance to return back to life. In the original game, you would partner up with another character, and the gameplay would be that you're controlling that partner with the D-pad on the top screen, while you're controlling the main character on the bottom screen with the touch screen. In Neo, you now have a team of characters. Where I believe you start off with 4 characters, and now they're each controlled with a face button on your controller. So like X would be for your main character Rindo, who's the main character, like I said. Circle would be for another character, triangle another, and each button would do like a different type of action that you can like set in the main menu. So I ranked it here because the game basically like follows up on like lingering questions that were left from the first game, and like they ported the first game over so many times. They ported it over to the iPhone. They ported it over to the Switch, and like they would add more story stuff at the end. So Neo like follows up on that new story stuff and what happens. And there was like some hype moments in the game, and like I feel like for the most part the story wraps up pretty nicely. Like I said, the combat was already streamlined. The music is great. Like this game has like a lot of variety in it to like rock, rap, pop. There's also like remixes from the first game that were in there, which were pretty good. And yeah, that's mostly like what I have to really say for it because it just follows up perfectly in the first game. And there are some stuff where I'm like, okay, they could have explained that a little bit better, but I still enjoyed what I played and it has like a satisfying ending. If they made a sequel to it, I'm not too sure where it would go from there. But other than that, that's my number 2. I would probably rank it like maybe like an 8.5.
8.5. Wait,
Yeah.
what did you rate? What did you rate Psychonauts 2?
Like an 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was surprised on this one, Eric. To be honest, I was surprised because you didn't say much about it. Like,
Well, cause I know you guys like really. This isn't like a game you guys probably wouldn't have played because it's a sequel to like an almost 10-year-old, even more game. You know.
Hey, so it's Psychonauts 2 is a sequel to a
15.
15-year-old game.
Yeah.
True, but that game was on the original game was on Game Pass, so it's easily accessible. The original was on
That's true.
I would say the best version is still on the DS, just because the way they translated the controls to the Switch and iPhone really doesn't work well. Because now you're just using your finger to touch it, and
Sorry,
what's up?
did it lose any points at all for the translation from DS? Because I know that's what made a lot of the original special was the control scheme and the dual screen thing.
So the original game, I would say, when they ported it over to the other console, they did. But the control scheme for the newer game is completely different. It's based off team mechanics now. So basically, you have these things called pins, which are basically your abilities. Like, so you have a pin that controls fire, and it would be set on, I don't know, R2 to hold it down to activate it. So you would do that, and then once you use up the pin, because like each pin has like a cooldown timer, you would combo it with another character in your party. So they have like maybe like an energy blade they use to slash opponents. So you would use that and then combo it with another team member and so on. And I feel like that kind of translated very well over to the consoles because you just have all those buttons to your controller now. You're not focusing on one on the bottom screen and focusing on the other on the top screen. And I feel like it was translated pretty well in my opinion.
My praises for Neo the World Ends with You from Eric for number 2. So that brings us to Sam for your number 2.
Yes. Yes, it does. As you can see, I am repping one of my favorite franchises, Life is Strange. And a couple weeks ago, or a week and a little bit ago, Life is Strange True Colors came out, and man, I was not ready for this emotional roller coaster. This is my favorite Life is Strange game, by far. I think the visuals are just absolutely beautiful. The characters are super well written. The dialogue is like not cringy as hell like it is in the first one, especially. But obviously, this is it's a narrative adventure game. This one follows Alex Chen, who's an empath, and she literally takes that like to the next level. Like she can actually feel and knows what people are feeling. And then throughout the game, you actually see you find out that she can actually like see what people are feeling and like visualize it, and they just do such cool stuff with that idea. I think it's the most like interesting power they've dealt with in the series, because like time travel and telekinetic powers are kind of, they're cool, but they're a little overused. So yeah, this was just I think such a unique power to kind of deal with, and I think what makes this not my number one, and the only reason it's not my number one, is because I think the last chapter was like not particularly great. It was like chapters 1 through 4 were like perfect for me, but then chapter 5 kind of fell off a little bit. And then chapter 3 in particular is one of the like best levels of a video game I've experienced. It's essentially like, I don't want to even spoil it, but play Life is Strange True Colors if you like these types of games, because it is one of the best ones of these types of games. And yeah, I would say it's a solid 9. And yeah, it'd be a 10 if it wasn't for the last chapter.
Not that this should affect your rating of it, but did the 30 FPS bother you at all?
Not one bit. Not at all. I mean, it's you just walk around like there's not, what I mean? It's not like it's gonna affect your gameplay all that much.
Yeah.
Well, and they pushed the visuals pretty well with this one, didn't they?
Yeah, the art style is beautiful. And just like not just the art style, just the stuff they do. Like they do some very interesting stuff with the visuals. Like I said, you can visualize what people are feeling in certain points of the game. It's really, really cool.
It's the first Life is Strange game that's motion captured.
Yes, that is also true. And you can tell.
Yes, you can. The mouths move when they talk.
Yeah, the animations are way better than the first two.
And Liv, you played this game as well, right?
Yeah, I did. This is, like you said, the best Life is Strange game. And I might have it ranked a little higher.
Well, do you want to, or wait?
For the sake of time, should Frewy say his
Yeah,
number?
let's have Frewy do his number 1, and then we'll let him hop out, and then we'll have Liv just go through hers as well, to catch up to us.
So my number one is a trilogy that got a remaster that I see someone has a helmet that I really want.
Let's go. I'm taking my headset off.
Exactly. Without a doubt, the best franchise that I've ever played, let alone the remaster side of it. The fact that all 3 games got a full redo.
Now, if
And,
you excuse me, I should go see what's
Like,
on
I
these lists.
loved the original, so like the fact that your choices and crew carry over, decisions made. The fact that it did get said helmet as a collector's edition that lights up and does all that groovy stuff as well also contributes towards this. But without a doubt, my favorite franchise of all time. So that gets the one big one, the rank number 1, and the 10 out of 10.
That's kind of cheating, right?
Right.
This is like, wow, all my favorite games together in one. Now this is my favorite game of the year.
Oh, Mass
I did
Effect 2
not-
then, if you want to be like that. But that's in the trilogy.
I was unaware that we could pick this collection. Because yeah, without a doubt, Mass Effect 2 is the best game I've played this year. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I didn't know we
I
could
s-
put remasters on here. If I did, I
I-
would have put this on here too.
No one
'cause,
told
It's
me
a
no
new
rules except
release.
dates.
It's a
This
new
is-
release. It
It's
counts.
true. It's
Oh,
true.
yeah, this because I played the Mass Effect trilogy for the first time with this remaster, and I had a really good time with it. I went Good Boy Shepherd, probably a boring choice, but it was still like really good. Like for the first time playing it, I'm amazed like, how good it was, especially since those games came out years ago, originally.
But
If,
one of the-
if you
Go on.
if you ever play again, Eric, go hard the other way. Just be an absolute dick.
Hey,
It's tons of
in
fun.
Mass Effect 2, I did some renegade choices. Like I told you, there was that one Krogan guy in Tachanka just making this big ass speech about like how he's gonna be saving everyone, and I just shot the pipe below him because I was like, man, just shut up already.
It's like one of the very few games that it's nearly got me to shed a tear.
Nearly.
That's something.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. It's one of the few games that has made me shed a tear. The other one
Well,
I
that's
just
all-
talked about.
Awesome to hear. So anyone else play Mass Effect Remastered that came out this year? I know Eric, you said you did.
I'm waiting for a sale. I'm sorry.
Understandable.
Oh yeah, because $60 for 3 of the best games ever made. Totally not worth it. And whatever.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like $30 for Christmas.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Well, Frewy, hop out whenever you need to.
problem.
But amazing. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. We'll have to do it again some other time.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries.
Enjoy playing football.
I will do.
Hey, it's American Football Day too.
All right. And without further ado, are you ready for your number? Did we even get to your number 3, Liv?
No, I lost internet connection and now I'm on
Oh,
my
no.
phone. So, yeah, I don't know how this is all going down, but do you want me to just run through the
Yeah,
3
do
and
your
2?
number- Do your number 3 and number 2.
Yeah. Do your number 3
Yeah.
and number 2, and we will sit and listen and chime in where we need to.
Okay. So I picked an indie game for my number 3. I'm not sure if many people know what it is, but I chose a game called Road 96. It is kind of political, and the whole premise of the game is that you are trying to flee the country because of political unrest, and it's a choice-based survival game. So you have to make decisions on where you're going to, how you're going to get across the border. You have to, everything's like energy based. So do you want to use your money to take a taxi or do you want to walk? And then how are you going to regain that energy? Where are you going to sleep? And it has multiple endings, and I haven't decided what ending is true to me yet, but that's the best part of choice-based games because you could replay it and see it different ways and decide what is the canon ending to you. So is that a game that anyone has played?
I've heard mention of it. It did look pretty interesting, but you talking about it like that actually makes me want to try it a little more. So I will have to check it out.
I played the demo on Steam. I'm not sure if it's still there, but the demo is about like an hour, hour and a half long. And I just thought that would be the opening sequence, but it's a completely different down the line scene. So it really does a good job of showing you how your choices affect where the story's going to go. And also, I'm a big fan of when games have mini games in them. I got to play air hockey. I got to pet a cat. I just like the little stupid stuff that people don't really think about when they play games as well, because it takes a break from the tension, because it is a pretty serious game.
That's awesome to hear. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I'm a very big fan of choice-based games. So the next game that I listed as number 2 is not a choice-based game, and it was my first time ever playing a roguelike game, and it's Returnal. I played it on the PS5, and I was interested in this game because when they were showing footage of it, it kind of gave me Control vibes. You have weapons that do random stuff. There's aliens and weird creatures. And I'm very bad at shooting. If you want to play a shooting game, you do not want me on your team. Your life is in danger. Friendly fire, I'll kill you. And the fact that I beat this game twice is just like the biggest accomplishment in my entire life.
I was gonna say that you're typically not. This is not your MO from what I remember in previous episodes and things like that. Is that you're not super into the uber challenging shooter games.
No, I hate it. And this game changed that for me. For some reason, I wasn't frustrated when I died. It encouraged me to want to play again and make it to the next level. And I think it's because I really like Control, and it just reminded me of that. And the map would change every single time you die. And this week, I saw someone speed run the game in 45 minutes, and I hate that man. I hate him. It took me 40 hours to beat this game, and someone beat it in 45 minutes. That's not fair. But
yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna echo a similar sentiment for a game later on in my list as well. So
yeah, if you have a PS5, I would say that this is a game you should check out, because in my opinion, it uses the best haptic adaptive triggers. When it rains, you could feel it on the controller, which is just so unique. And this is definitely, I don't like challenging games. I'm usually just there for the story. Shooting is something I can avoid if I want to, but I, for some reason, was compelled to play this game, and it was my game of the year until a more recent game came out.
yeah,
Returnal is probably the best gameplay wise that I've played this year, just because the shooting feels real good and real smooth. But man, I played it right at launch, and I was having all sorts of bugs that would like end runs. Like I'd get stuck in a room, or the game updated when it was in rest mode, and so then that ended a run. I just couldn't get back into it. But yeah, feels really good to play with all the haptics and such.
I want to go back and collectible hunt, but I'm not sure how patient I am of a person, because it's randomly generated. So sometimes the collectibles won't drop, and I killed everyone, and I looked all over the place, and they're not there.
So where would you rank it? Did you say where you'd rank it for out of 10?
No, I didn't, but I will give this. For reference, I don't have a way to rank it against other Rogue games, because this is the only one that I've played, but I would say I would give it a 9.
That's fantastic. That makes me want to try that game even more, because I've heard tons of great things about it, and I'm super into the Rogue genre, so.
I wish Frewy was still here, because he came into my stream while I was playing it, and he was amazed that I was killing things and I was aiming. And he said, why can't you play like this when we play together? And I told him, I don't know, man. I don't know. This game does things to me.
Just tell him the want is there to do better.
That might be it.
Things that I want for my number 2. I think I'm gonna put Psychonauts 2 there. For many of the same reasons it was listed before. It's it's a 3D platformer. You're going into people's minds. You're using all kinds of different, I guess, telekinetic mind powers to do different things. And I think my addition here would be standouts, I guess, would be humor and impeccable level design. Everything just is so cohesive and masterfully planned out as far as like little secrets you find here and there. Obviously, it's like a collectathon game type too, so even that's not too bad or grating. I don't know. I just haven't played a game, and this will probably happen a lot where I say that I haven't played a game with this good of level design in a 3D platformer. I want to say in the last 5 years, but it's definitely my number 2 for those reasons. I'd rank it a 9.4 to be weird about it.
I forgot to mention when Eric was talking about it earlier, but that fucking music festival level was incredible. Oh
yeah,
my
the
God.
Psy King. As Liv
Beautiful.
mentioned before, if you haven't played Psychonauts 2, I'll stay away from spoilers as much as possible. But this bringing the band together there is one of my favorite moments in a game in many years. And spoilers, I guess, but Jack Black does play a part in that, and it was really cool to hear him there. Who wants to do their number 1 first?
Well, wait, aren't we
are we
doing
doing-
honorable
wait.
mentions?
Honorable mentions before we go number 1?
Yeah, we'll keep people in suspense a little longer.
All right.
Okay, so I'll go next then. Honorable mentions are all for games that didn't even come out this year, but that's why they're honorable mentions. Shout out to Resident Evil 7, old game, but I played it for the first time this year and it was awesome. It was scary, and really grossed me out a lot of the time. Shout out to Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, whatever. Really fun story, lots of brutal fatalities and brutalities, and you can even end the game. You can end a match with something called a friendship, where your character will do something abundantly cute and wholesome, and it's just a way to troll your opponent. Obviously, the fighting mechanics are amazing, second to none. Actually, I shouldn't say that. There's probably fighting games that do it way better, and then people would probably crucify me for saying that. Yeah, great game. And finally, I'll say Overcooked 2, because that is all my girlfriend wants to play all the time. as we're trying to 4-star every level, so I'm pretty over the game, but not gonna lie, it is really, really fun figuring out the puzzle to each level and getting that fourth star.
Mhm.
With only 2 people?
Only the 2 of us. Yep.
Good luck. Some levels it's doable, but then you get to the I've tried this.
So have I. So have I.
Yeah, I think you need to recruit. I think you need recruits.
We're almost there.
If not to just throw ingredients
Oh
at
my
you,
God.
you know?
We're doing the bonus levels now, like the DLC levels. So
This man's a show off.
I know, right? He's a gamer.
So I played a little bit of Overcooked, that collection that just came out on PlayStation Plus with a couple friends. Oh my God, it's so much chaos. It's so much fun. Like we're trying to make burgers and like everything's on fire. Like there's like moving levels going on, and we're like, what's going on? Who's doing what? It's so much fun though.
Eric, do you want to chime in with your honorable mentions?
Sure do. I got a couple here. So I'm gonna start off with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I'm a big Ratchet and Clank fan. I played like all the games like on the PS2, the PS3. Most of them I played. I was excited for Rift Apart, and not necessarily in my top three because I feel like it really didn't innovate as much as they were like saying in the trailers and stuff. It kind of just felt like more Ratchet and Clank, which is not a bad thing, mind you. But um, I normally do like the challenge mode runs in this game too, but like I didn't do it with Rift Apart for some reason. Maybe I feel like it was just too many games coming out afterwards, but I still had fun with it. It was a great game. I want more Ratchet and Clank. Um, Also gonna call out Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch because this is the first game after World came out, which like basically made the whole series more popular in the West. And that game is black magic on the Switch, by the way. Like that game looks beautiful and runs great on the Switch somehow. Like I don't know what the hell Capcom did, but that game runs almost perfect on the Switch. And I put it in like I don't know how many like 40 hours I think in the game. I want to go back ever since they like updated it to add more monsters and stuff. I just haven't had the time to, and I have no other friends who are playing, and I want to go back and play more. Also another game that we mentioned earlier, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, only because I didn't know we can put it on our main list, so I just put it in here. And then another one which I'm recently playing, haven't finished yet, but Tales of Arise. I picked this up on Friday, I believe it was, and I played like all day yesterday. I'm already like in 10 hours in, and I'm liking this game so far. That second boss I was talking about in the Discord yesterday was kicking my ass, but I kind of like that challenge. And this is my first Tales game so far, and I'm liking it so far. The characters are pretty good. The combat, I played the demo earlier, and the demo kind of throws you into it, but thankfully the full game like eases you more into it, so I'm appreciating that. The graphics are looking really good. From what I've heard from other Tales fans, they said that this game was in development a lot longer than the others, and I guess that paid off because this game so far seems to be doing well. I know they put out like that they just reached 1 million sales, so good on them because I think this was a more niche franchise until recently, so good on them. I can't wait to like play more of this game and finish it to give my full impressions. But so far, I'm really enjoying it.
Yes. And does that do it for your honorable mentions?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll chime in with mine. I have a couple here. So this one is an ongoing thing, so I didn't really count it. It's Destiny 2. I've sunk way too many hours into this game previous years, and I have this year, and I'll probably continue to. Some of the best moments I've had in dealing with, especially these COVID times, just being able to hang out with two other friends and shoot alien heads and mess about, and even we just sit in the tower sometimes and emote, and we're just talking about whatever. But that doesn't. It's not to take away from the game because the game actually has been getting amazing in their story, season to season, in-game story rather than before it was just lore, and it's getting to a really high apex for me as far as storytelling. So I wanted to include it there. Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life. Uh, if anyone else has played this, it's just magic. It's awesome. It captures everything that I would want from a Pirates of the Caribbean game, and so it's fitting that they would partner with them in this. Did anyone else play that, by the way?
It was broken when I tried to play it,
Oh man,
and I haven't gone back.
I think you should finish it. It is worth finishing. The story does have a great payoff. So that's there for me. My honorable mentions were those two. Sam, do you want to go with yours?
Sure, I have 3. The first one is Psychonauts 2, which you guys have talked about. I've mentioned a little bit. That music festival level is amazing. Favorite level of the game. And it was one of 2 action platformers this year that I really enjoyed. And the other one is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I also want to shout out. Feels really good to play. The gameplay of Ratchet and Clank is definitely like superior to Psychonauts 2 in my opinion. It just feels better to play, but I think Psychonauts 2 is more unique and the level design is better. Ratchet and Clank was kind of like, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that game that much since I played it. But it was a really, really fun game to play. Oh, I lied. I had 4 that I wanted to shout out. The other one is It Takes Two. I haven't finished it yet. Me and my friend haven't played it for quite a while, but man, that's a fun ass game. And then the last one is Scarlet Nexus,
No
which
way.
is
Hold up. When did you play this game?
fucking just insane. I played it, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Like, there's so much going on in this game, and the pacing is so bad. Like, there's so much, like, the pacing's so bad, but it's, like, hilariously bad. And the dialogue is, like, super over-explainy, and it is amazing. I loved every second of it. And the combat is, the combat system is phenomenal. It just, like, using all the different powers you can unlock at a certain point where you can have 4 different powers activated at the same time, and it just turns the combat system into utter chaos, and it is just amazing. But yeah, super anime. Eric, definitely recommend this to you. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, this is a game I was gonna pick up eventually, but like I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I think you'd like it a lot. But yeah, this until Scarlet Nexus until like I think probably 3 days ago was gonna be in my top 3, and then I played my number 1. So
Very
Nice.
nice.
Liv, do you want to go with your honorable mentions?
I only have 2 honorable mentions, and one game that came out in February was a re-release. It was Control the Ultimate Edition, and I picked that up on the PS5 because it was a PS Plus game. And Control is my favorite game from 2019, and the fact that I got to replay that with the PS5 haptic feedback was incredible. And until Returnal came out, I thought that that game had the best use of the haptic triggers. But Control is one of my favorite games of all time, so I didn't want to put them on the list. But man, I really love that game, and I've put in a lot of hours just like running around, messing around, punching vending machines just to watch them explode, and stupid stuff like that.
Did you?
is the optimization better on the PS5 than it was on the PS4?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I played Control on the base PS4, and if you try to levitate, dodge, and launch all at the same time, you would skip frames like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
did you play it on that too?
I played it on the base PS4, but I have the Ultimate Edition because I think it was PS Plus maybe.
Yeah.
Or something. So I do want to play that because I want to play the DLC, but it's good to hear the optimization's better because yeah, those frames were not great.
Blows it away. It's incredible. This
Good to hear.
jaw-dropping difference for us PS4 base owners, because once you level up Jessie Faded, she just can do so much in so little time, and the PS4 said, no, I need a break. And yeah, but the PS5 version of it is incredible, and the DLC is incredible, especially if you played Alan Wake. I think you'll appreciate that DLC.
Oh boy, did we play Alan Wake.
We sure did.
Oh yeah, are you guys gonna pick up the remaster next month?
Nah.
I think I might, just because I'm crazy.
Maybe.
We liked the story, but some of the mechanics and stuff just hampered it back for us. That's what we ended up deciding.
I completely agree, but I'm hoping that the remaster is better, because the story's great, but like you said, the gameplay holds it back. But the DLC in Control, you can play it without playing Alan Wake, but I think you'll appreciate it more if you do. And the other Foundation is just awesome, and I love the world of Control. I'm a big collectible hunter, and I went out of my way, even though there's not a trophy for it, to find every single collectible, because some of them are hilarious.
I just want to say,
yeah,
I like throwing the stuff against the wall in that game. I like picking everything up that's around me and throwing it, because when I'm mad, that's what I like to do in those games. And that game is probably the best game for that, for me at least. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I completely agree. Especially if you get the Foundation DLC, you get like a sticky bomb, and you could put them, like you could shoot it onto the vending machine, and then throw the vending machine, and it will explode. So yeah, you could. That's a really fun weapon, the Surge. I think that's what it's called.
Mhm.
And the collectibles in that game, I just wanted to find all of them. Some of them would be serious, and then one of my favorites would be someone sent a letter to the control unit, and it just says, "My feet talk to me at night." What? Like, who wrote that? Who got paid to do that? And the Threshold Kid videos, they're my favorite collectible in any game. I love those creepy puppets. They're so funny. My last honorable mention is a game that I haven't finished yet, but is extremely adorable. It's called Garden Story. Do any of you know what this is?
I've heard of it.
Nope.
Let me
No.
blow your mind. You play as a grape with a sword, and you have to protect your town from slime. So your name is Conquered the Grape, and you go around as the guardian of the world, and you slice slime, and you fight bosses. And he wears a nice little purple hat that I bought him in the game. And because it's a 2D game, it his hat's to the side, so he looks like an absolute douchebag. And you at night you sleep on this little leaf, and he curls up in a little ball, and it's adorable. And I demoed this game at PAX East in 2019, and it finally came out in August, and it's just silly fun.
Okay, one more time for the listeners, can you tell me what the name of the grape is, please?
Conquered?
Like Concord grapes?
Yes. Everything in the
Oh, that's
game is a
spectacularly
pun.
dumb, but amazing.
Everything in the game has a pun. Everything. And I love him. He's so cute. The only reason why I can't rank it on my list is just because I haven't finished it yet, but 10 out of 10 cuteness. You're a grape with a sword. Like, what else do I have to tell you to make you play this game? It's like...
I mean, I know for the puns alone I'm playing this game. I'm dead. I cannot believe how much that made me laugh. Why? Why Concord the Grape and why with a sword? So you have like arms or what? Like,
Yeah, you have arms.
oh,
Because
okay.
how would you hold your sword?
Right, hey,
So-
it could be cheaply made and they just have the sword attached to the weird grape body.
No, yeah, your whole thing is the slime is taking over your town, and you have to. Okay, so it is. It kind of looks like Stardew Valley graphics, and then it's also a dungeon crawler because there's bosses that you have to go fight. That's how you get rid of the slime. You have to go kill the source, and it's just so adorable. Everyone's just so happy to be there, and that you're a little grape, and there's other little fruit in the town, and then there's this frog. I don't really know how he fits into the whole thing yet, because, yeah, but it's extremely cute, and I can't recommend this game enough. When I demoed this at PAX, I wishlisted it immediately. It's only on PC and Switch right now. I don't know if it's coming to other platforms, but it's extremely adorable.
Awesome. We'll get to Gaffney's here in a second, as I think he just dropped out. However, I have one more, and I don't know if I should have put this as my game of the year this year, but if it had originally released on Xbox this year, I would have put it there. But this is another honorable mention I just wanted to get in real quick because Hades is amazing. I don't know, you guys have all probably heard of Hades before, and it got Game of the Year last year, correct? From many places. You're playing as Zagreus, the son of Hades. Your mission is to escape hell. It's got some of the best combat in a roguelike game I've ever played. Like, ever. And it makes me want to try all the weapons and all the upgrades. And each one is tied into making you want to do a run that's just... Every time you lose, you're like, all right, well, I lost because of this. I never thought it was unfair. Because the combat is so tight. You have... that's not to say anything about, like, the vocal performances in Hades. it makes you want to keep doing the runs just to hear the next bit of story that they're saying or next little dialogue they have in between because it's so well done and so well written. This will be my honorable mention, but if it originally came out this year, it would be my game of the year. Gaffney, sorry, go ahead with your honorable mentions.
No, I said them already.
He already did his.
Oh, he
This is
did.
number
I
one time.
apologize. Your number one.
My number one's pretty boring. Psychonauts 2. Yeah.
You all play the same games. It's kind of funny.
No.
Just this one. Just
Yeah,
this
this
game.
one, yeah.
We all like similar games.
Yeah, good on you, Double Fine. You made a great game after crowdfunding it however many years ago. I think it's pretty close to perfection. I can't think of anything that I don't like about it. Art style is so unique. Whether you like it or not is up to you, but I do. Sound design, combat. Actually, combat's not amazing, but I'm fine with it. Music, voice acting, humor, just general vibe. It's all amazing in a very cohesive and wacky world. Very important themes, and I just can't tell you enough how much fun I had playing this game. I didn't 100%. I didn't get all the collectibles, but I think the collectibles aren't very tedious, and I think they're very satisfying to collect. And I played it on Game Pass, which makes it even better. That's my number
Big
one.
bonus. Yeah, if you haven't played Psychonauts 2 and you have Game Pass, what are you waiting for, honestly?
And I give it 9.5. Just to say.
Nice. Well, that's Gaff's game of the year so far, Psychonauts 2. Who wants to chime in with theirs next? Maybe we'll kick it over to Sam for his number one.
Oh, okay. My number one, I finished this game 4 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that. So it might be a little bit of recency bias, but I don't think so. I think this has a chance to be my game of the year at the end of the year as well. Death's Door. This game is so good. Oh my god. I fell in love with this game immediately. It was just so much fun to play. It's like it. So, I guess it's an isometric-y 3D action game. And you play as a crow who has a sword. So not a grape, but a crow who has a sword.
Interested? Keep going.
Also cute.
And he
Keep
doesn't
going.
he doesn't have a punny name, but one of the characters just calls him Beakface, so that's good. But yeah, it is you play as a crow who's like in this world. The crows are the reapers, so like they go around collecting souls, and that's like their job, and like the hub area is like their office area essentially. It's just a really like cool and unique kind of like world that the game's set in. You go around and you fight things, and there's like it's set up like a Zelda game, so it is very like it scratched the same itch for me that Link's Awakening did on, because I played Link's Awakening earlier this year actually on Switch. And stylist like it's very kind of similar to that. There's some puzzles, there's dungeons that you go through. There's like 3 main giant souls that you're collecting, and that's the whole objective, is then to open Death's Door. You have to collect these 3 giant souls. And yeah, the bosses are, I think, really, really, really well done. Each one kind of has their own thing that you have to, like, there's a strategy to them. And the combat never feels like it's unfair or anything. It is pretty hard. I honestly can't believe I was able to beat the game. Just because I'm not very good at video games. But yeah, and the level design is fantastic. There's all kinds of shortcuts going, as you go forward.
Similar to a Souls game, right? Where you can make the path forward easier the second time.
Yeah, so then when you die, you go back to the last door, and each door leads back to the hub area, and so you go back to the last door when you die, and all the enemies respawn. But yeah, so fun. And it's just a really fun game to like go around and explore into. Once I find some time to where I'm not playing like new games, I'm definitely gonna go back to this and try to collect all the like collectibles and get 100%. I believe there's a secret boss, so that will be fun to go to. But yeah, one of the hardest games I've ever been. Probably up there with Platinum and God of War. So it's a good time.
Nice, man.
Like
Death's Door.
9.5 out of 10.
Death's
I will
Door.
still play eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're even remotely into Zelda games and the like, I think it's definitely worth playing. It's got a factor of the cuteness and that type of thing. The dialogue is awesome too,
Yes.
and the characters are really cool. But we'll get to that in a second.
There's not much dialogue, but the dialogue that is there is very good. It's a lot like Dark Souls, where like a lot of the stories told through like the NPCs that you come across and or like the collectibles you find. It's not like outright telling you, There's no cutscenes or anything.
Right. The exposition is more subtle for sure. Let's go to Eric for his number one so far.
So my number one is Call of Duty. No, I'm just kidding. It's Persona 5 Strikers, of course.
What a fake out.
Shocker. I really don't know what else, what else to say about this game that hasn't been said already by me and Gaff. Yeah, it's Persona 5 Strikers. I almost forgot to put this on my list because like it came out earlier this year and like that feels so far away already. And like Sam said earlier, like I was like looking towards more like recent stuff because of recency bias and stuff. So there's that. Love me some Persona. Became a fan back in 2019 when Joker got added to Smash, and then like from there I went on a huge Persona binge. Played 4, 5, 3, the dancing games, the freaking 3DS spin-offs, all that stuff.
Oh my god. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
How
But,
did you accomplish this?
those were the only games I were playing for like a good 4 months.
Eric,
And
I
then,
believe
and then in 2020 they brought out Persona 5 Royal, and I played that again too.
This
Eric,
is impressive.
I
It is.
believe I asked you to prepare some dance moves for us.
Whoa.
Today.
We can save that for like a Halloween special or something. Maybe I'll get a cosplay going or something.
Halloween.
It'll be a bad one, but there we go.
DDR pads I can send your way so that
Oh my
just
God.
to fulfill the experience,
Sam, Halloween's on a Sunday, so that's our recording days.
Oh.
Okay,
Shit.
we're doing something. Yep, we are. And
This is.
I think you already know what I'm going to be, Gaff, for Halloween. It might be a little bit funny.
Oh man, but yeah, Liv, I played for like a good. I think this entire year was just Persona for me. Like that entire year was just Persona, and like now that the 25th anniversary is coming up, I'm like, okay, what you got in store for me now?
Yeah,
Alright,
you're
so
all caught up.
what would
Yeah,
you rank
thankfully.
Persona Strikers, Eric?
I would give it a good 9.5. I would say it doesn't hit me hard as the original because you're like playing the original for a lot longer, so like you're in that world a lot more. But I still had a good time with it, surprisingly, because it's a Warriors game especially, and like I played Hyrule Warriors like a couple months before, and I was like, I just played to the story of that, and I was like done with it. I was like, okay, this is all right. Nothing really I'll be into, but this game, since like it blends the Persona style more than the Warrior style, I felt like it fit a lot more. And then the music, oh, that music is so good.
There you have it, Eric's game of the year so far. Let's
For how
go
long,
to
though?
Liv.
My game of the year is a game that was mentioned earlier. It's not Psychonauts. I hate to break it to you guys, but it is
Good.
Life is Strange True Colors game of the year. Returnal was going to be my game of the year until this game came out, and I was a little cautious about this because I really liked Life is Strange 1. I did not like Life is Strange 2, but
How dare you? How dare you?
I didn't
That's all
like
I have
Life
to
is
say.
Strange. Okay, the reason why I didn't like Life is Strange 2 is because you build such a base in the first game. So all the characters seem like they matter because you see them in every episode, but you only see a handful of the characters across the 5 episodes of Life is Strange 2, so I feel like they didn't flush them out as much. So I didn't like that aspect of it. I do want to replay it though, because I got the absolute worst ending you could possibly get in Life is Strange 2. And I just haven't had time to go back because I just didn't care. I mean, I didn't make the time to go back. So, Life is Strange True Colors, the day it got announced, I remember watching that trailer at work, and I literally screamed as soon as Steph walked up onto the screen. Steph Gingrich, take my heart, girl. I love you. So, you can play the Life is Strange games. You could play like one of them and not play the other ones. There's some characters that go across a couple episodes. And I think that if you played Life is Strange before the storm and knew who Steph Gingrich was, I think that mattered a lot more to you when you played Life is Strange True Colors. And she was one of my favorite side characters from those games. And she's getting her own DLC at the end of the month, which I will be playing day one. I was so afraid that someone was going to ruin Life is Strange True Colors for me, so I basically didn't go on most of my social media, and I banged that game out in 2 days. And yeah, it was 10 hours. I sat at my computer for 10 hours and just played for 2 days. And this game, it felt bigger, and Erica Mori, she plays Alex Chen, and this was her first major gig. And I think she did a phenomenal job playing Alex Chen. And if she is not nominated for Performance of the Year, I will riot. Like, she sold Alex Chen so well. And they did the motion capture for the first time, which I thought was incredible. And I know you said that, Sam, you didn't like episode 5, but I liked it because it felt reminiscent of the last episode of the first game, where things kept happening and you had to like figure out why. So there's a sequence that Alex has to repeat a couple times in the last episode, and it felt like the puzzles that Max Caulfield had to go through, and it felt like that paralleled for me. And I liked the puzzles in this game more. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, it is very reminiscent of Chapter 5 of the first game, which is also my least favorite chapter of that game. So
Oh,
makes sense to
okay.
me.
Okay. Is it because you don't like to repeat things that happen?
No, I just feel like Chapter 5 got of the first game got a little bit like complicated with the time like ability, and it just kind of, I feel like the story kind of got lost in just like the chaos, which I think that chapter is literally called Chaos Theory, maybe, or one of them
I
is.
think so as well.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of the story got kind of lost in all the like traveling back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and like it didn't all add up in the end to me. But yeah, which is very similar to what I felt in this game. I feel like it didn't. I liked a lot of the stuff in Chapter 5 still, but like I don't know. It got a little too lost in the sauce, I guess.
I hear you. I really do. I disagree a lot, but I hear you.
I still liked it, but
I was very excited for this game the second it got announced, and I am on my second playthrough right now, working on a collectible guide for people that need help finding collectibles. And I'm going to play it a different way. I chose the one ending, and I'm going to play it for the other one and see which one I like more. But I really like the characters in this game, and that's why Life is Strange True Colors is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion and Game of the Year.
Awesome.
How much did you like Chapter 3?
Oh, it's a nice, there's people that called it a filler episode, but I disagree. I think yeah, no, but there's people that are debating it, calling it a filler episode. I thought it was a nice break in a sense because the game is so heavy, So the first half of the game is very heavy. Then you have this lighthearted part of the game, but also like it continues with the heavy narrative. And I thought it was perfectly placed. I think
That's
the
one-
narrative pacing in Life is Strange: True Colors was incredible. It balanced like the seriousness of what was going on, the mysteriousness of it as well, but they always make sure to show you that not everything is always as bad as it seems, and they take you away from that and give you the comfort that Alex or even the player needs.
Yeah, chapter 3 is easily my favorite, by far. Like, I can't believe people are calling that a filler episode. I guess I was just more invested in like a lot of the side stuff more than I was the main, like trying to figure out like what actually happened with Ethan, or not with Ethan,
Typhon.
with the yeah,
Oh,
but
Gabe?
Gabe, jeez, oh my god, Gabe, like that stuff was still interesting to me. I still like that main plot thread, but I feel like I was a lot more invested in like the side stuff. So like what was going on with Ethan, romancing Steph.
Yes, good choice.
All that good stuff.
choice.
Yeah, all that good stuff. But yeah, chapter 3 was incredible for me.
I agree. I thought I liked all the episodes in this game. Well, since we all named our Game of the Year games for games that have already come out, is anyone looking forward to games that are coming out
Oh wait.
later? Oh, did
I-
everyone
I
go?
don't- No, I don't think Steven did.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You are fine. I'll just go. My number one. It's not gonna be too surprising, and it might be a little bit of recency bias, but Death's Door. For a lot of the same reasons Sam said. Like he said, I'm not going to retread too much. You play as a Reaper. Your job's to collect the giant souls. You gain power-ups, explore dungeons, and solve like mini puzzles, kind of thing, akin to Zelda mixed with like a Souls game. But it's a couple reasons. I just have a few things written. The combat's elegant, nuanced, and just challenging enough to make me want to keep coming back, even if I lost, right? You butt your head just enough to not drive yourself insane. The boss fights, I feel like, are some of the most memorable I've had in a while. And I missed a little bit from games, even like Breath of the Wild, because I really didn't feel like the bosses were the best in that one. And so I kind of had that itch I wanted to scratch from a Zelda game, and this really, really, really got there. The world has so many secrets. It's so awe-inspiring. The art style is just impeccable. Like, it's so unique. And then I really do feel like the writing does drive it home, because every NPC I talked to, a standout here I'd like to call out is Pothead. His head is literally a pot because he is cursed.
He's the homie.
He is
Love
he
him.
is a homie. He offers you some of the soup from his pot head, which you decline, much to his
Why?
chagrin. I
Why?
know. It looked pretty hearty too, I might add.
Bros don't eat soup.
Right,
I guess.
right. He, I guess so. You have another companion character in there as well, who wasn't as cool. They're like a bard, but they were pretty cool. They wrote songs about you, and I don't know. They didn't come up, but the character design mostly was just. I'll probably remember the character design because it's they have that kind of cartoony chibi look, but not really chibi. Like, and spoilers, death is awesome. When you actually see death.
Hell yeah, death is on. So
Death
you
is the best.
So have you finished it now, Steven?
Yes, I have finished
Okay.
the game.
Yeah. That boss fight after
dude.
after you meet death is just like so visually stunning because it's like all black and white. It is.
And the
phenomenal.
chains and like, oh man.
Yeah.
The actual mechanics of it, dodging a billion things at once. That's like the
Yep.
main crux of combat here is dodge in and out and then use your powers and sword. What did you use mostly when you were playing, Sam? The
I used
sword
the
or the
dagger.
powers?
I used the daggers for a long time as my weapon, and
Mhm.
then I got to the the Yeti boss, and had to start using my sword again for the longer reach, and then after that I used the sword pretty much the entire after that.
So
But as far as power wise, once I got the bomb, I was bombing people all over the place.
did you go and get any of the upgrades to the powers?
I did not know.
Um,
Didn't know there were upgrades to the powers.
so
Guess I
yes,
got
and
a
that
lot
might
more to do.
that might be for the post game thing, but I believe there are upgrades to the powers, and those are pretty cool and meaningful.
So you made the game harder for yourself, and you didn't know?
Oh, me, yeah, I never even fucking got more health or anything.
Yeah, I didn't get more health either, if that makes any difference. I got magic upgrade, and so I can use
I
the
didn't.
magic easier.
Got halfway to it.
Yeah, I mostly went with the sword. I played with the hammer for a little bit because that was really cool, the thunder hammer. But
Yeah.
yeah, just like I said, I don't want to recant too much, but visually striking. The puzzles weren't ever difficult, but they weren't silly easy either. Um, it just struck the right chord with me as far as that Zelda itch that I really appreciate from the top down Zeldas like A Link Between Worlds and A Link to the Past. It really hit home for me and it ended the game in a non-disappointing way, which is something I can't say for a lot of other games in the same style, where I was super satisfied by the ending, but also I want to go back and 100% this game because there's more spoilers. There's more to discover afterwards after you beat the game, which yeah, that'll do it for my game of the year. Take it away, Liv.
So are there games that are coming out later this month, October or early November, that you guys are excited about and could possibly make it into your game of the year discussion? Gaff, I see you are very excited.
I wonder what he's going to
So-
talk about.
So, Liv, I'm Canadian and games cost a lot more here than in America. So, I've been saving a lot of my money to buy a bunch of games that are coming out within the next 2 months.
Okay.
First thing I'm really excited for is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Those games, when they came out back in 2007, were my childhood favorites. So, of course, I'm going to play the remaster. Of course, I know they're not the great, they're not the greatest remakes in the world, but I don't care. I'm a shell. I'll buy it. I'll spend $80 on it. So I'm really excited to play that on the Switch. Another thing I'm really excited for, also on the Switch, is Mario Party Superstars. It's going back to the original formula of Mario Party, where they're literally bringing back one of the most well liked boards of all time, and all the mini games are classic. They're all the best mini games, and it really looks like we're going back to. They're giving us methods to really screw each other over, whereas the last game, it could still be frustrating, but it was much more forgiving in the past. So I can't wait to play this game with my friends, play it with you guys, because you can now do Mario Party online, and it works. So I think that'll be really fun for all of us to play. And finally, I should mention those past two. I don't think they're gonna make anyone's game of the year list besides mine because my personal fanboyism. But what I'm hoping has a fair shot in December is Halo Infinite. You guys already know. Liv, you may not know, but I'm a Halo fanboy. I live and breathe it, and I am championing this game so hard, and I want it to be good so bad, and I'm so scared that I'm gonna be wrong. It's gonna suck, and everyone's gonna hate it. But I'm on the edge of my seat for this game, and I've already been waiting a year, right? Because it got delayed. But once it comes, I'm gonna dive into it. dive into the campaign. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do the campaign because there's no co-op. I'm gonna dive into the multiplayer, and I'm hoping it'll be great.
Frewy actually pre-ordered the special edition console and controller for Halo because he works at a game store, so
Who
he
else did that?
snagged those.
Well, Eric might have something to tell you.
Gaff may be Halo fan number one, but I also bought that controller and console.
Well, look at you guys.
Well,
Oh,
I'm the bigger. I think I'm the biggest Halo fan, but I'm sorely
Yeah, I
not
think so.
the
But I
one
bought
with the
that
most
console.
money.
It looks so nice. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm excited for Halo Infinite as well. I won't retread when it comes to mine.
Oh boy. Okay, I guess I'll go next. So a few games coming out that I don't know. Well, so Gav said Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shine, and Pearl. I'm the same with him. Played those games in my childhood back in the year. Excited for to play those. Mario Party, I was gonna get if everyone else is getting it, and I guess Gav is number one. So need a few more people to get that, and I'll get it. Metroid Dread, looking pretty good. I've avoided trailers because I don't want to see spoilers from that, but I'm getting that either way. Battlefield looked good, then it got delayed, and Pokemon is on the same day, and then this next title is on the same day, and I'm playing this instead because that's my number one, and that's Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. So not really a new game; it's more of an expansion, but this expansion is basically like the culmination of like almost like 10 years of storytelling for this game. And so for those who don't know, Final Fantasy 14 is an MMORPG made by Square, obviously. The original game, people might know that bombed pretty hard, was not liked at all. That they scrapped the entire thing, and then they basically redid the entire thing and brought it back in like 2013, 2014ish, I think. And so Endwalker is basically the Avengers Endgame of the current storyline for this game, where everything's coming together. They stated that this is like the last expansion for like the current story saga going in. So I'm pretty excited to see like where it's gonna go and how it's gonna end, especially since the last expansion, Shadowbringers, I'm pretty sure it's like one of the most highly rated Final Fantasy games ever, and it's just an expansion for an MMO, you know, and the story in this game is what keeps me going. I played this game ever since the beta in 2014 on PS4, and this is like this is one of my most favorite games of all time too. Like I think Persona 5 and this are like in my I think number 1 and 2, honestly. And that's surprising to me considering this is an MMO, but the community, the story, the gameplay that they put out, it just blows me away in how good this game is, and I can't wait to play this expansion in November.
Nice. I can't say I've ever gotten to the Final Fantasy games just because there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many to keep up with.
Yeah, I haven't played anything pre-7 though. That's the thing with me.
Okay.
But they're all like their own stories. You don't need to play like 1 to play 2, for example. But I like them. I'm the RPG guy of this podcast because if you
Well, the JRPG.
yeah, you're like the Western RPG side. Yeah, that's for sure.
I guess I'll go next. I have this game downloaded on my PS5. It came out, I don't know, 4 days ago, something like that. Deathloop. I'm very excited to get into it. Did not want to start it before this episode because I knew I wanted people to finish it, and I didn't want it to taint my list. So I am excited to get into that soon. I love Arcane, so yeah. And then after that, I think this comes out like in a week. Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
Tuesday. Comes out Tuesday. I'm
It comes out
pre-downloading it today.
Okay, geez. Okay, that is very soon. That is very soon. I actually will. I might not start Deathloop just so I can play that game first because I know Deathloop will take longer. But yeah, I have been excited for this game ever since it was announced. It just looks like a Pixar movie, and I love Pixar movies. I really hope it's fun. I really hope it's good. And then in October, Guardians of the Galaxy comes out. there's no way this is touching probably anyone's game of the year list. I'm not that optimistic about it, but I am a little optimistic about it to where I think it will be better than people are expecting it to be. And I hope it is. I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I really like what I've seen from the trailers. I like the vibe of the game. I like the character design. I've said this before, it looks way more inspired than the Avengers game. So I am excited for that. And then the last one, Far Cry 6 comes out at some point.
October, I believe.
Yeah.
October 7th, I think.
Cautiously optimistic for that because Far Cry 5 did not grab me. And I never tried New Dawn or I never tried Primal. It's been a while since I've really been into a Far Cry game. I never finished Far Cry 4, but I really, really liked that game. Played a lot of it, just never rolled credits. And then Far Cry 3 was fantastic. So I'm really hoping that Far Cry 6 can kind of bring me back into the series. So I'm excited for that one.
Just to go off of Kina's Bridge of Spirits, since I got overly excited when you said that. But oh my god, if you can't tell, I really like cute stuff. So
Yeah, those
the
little fuzz balls.
yeah, I don't know why, but I'm compelled to call them blueberries just because they're small and blue. But
Yeah.
they're called rots. And this, I will spend all of my in-game currency on purchasing hats for them because you could customize them so you could tell them apart. And I pre-ordered it so I get special hats. So
It's fantastic.
Oh, geez, I should pre-order it.
yeah, you could pre-download it starting today. So I bought it a couple days ago and I'm downloading it as we speak. And it's so funny because this game is actually quite morbid. It's about helping people cross over to the other side, like after they die. But it looks so cute.
Liv, real quick, did you like Spiritfarer?
I did not play that game.
I think you would love that game. Like, really, because it seems right up your alley. And it's about a similar thing. About helping these people, these creatures come to a finality by tying up loose ends, and you have a boat that you build and they live on, and you can customize and you feed them, and it is cute and wholesome, and the writing is incredible, and it's one of the games that made me cry profusely for one part about a frog, which I never thought I would do. I really think you'd like that game which they just came out with new DLC. That's why I'm mentioning that. So I really do think you'll like it.
I'll have to check it out. I'm mostly just excited to decorate my friends and give them little hats, and then I'm gonna name them, even though like you can't name them. I'm gonna know them, their names.
Does Kenna not have a physical release?
Does not.
Damn it. Whatever.
You can get it on PC and PlayStation as of right now. But
I'm
they
getting
have
it on
not.
PlayStation.
They haven't mentioned physical releases, but I have looked at the merch, and there's a little figurine of the little blueberry guy, and I have a stuffed animal of the blueberry guy, but I haven't bought them yet because the game's not out, and I need to make sure I like it. But I'm sure if I play it for like 3 hours, I will be spending $50 additional just buying shit. And other than that, games that I want to play, I'm not going to call them Game of the Year worthy, are Death Stranding Director's Cut. I played it when it first came out. I thought it was okay. I feel like I didn't play it correctly. I didn't spend enough time building stuff, and I feel like if I did build more stuff and didn't walk everywhere, I would have liked it more. So I'm gonna give that a chance. And Back for Blood, I got access to the beta. I streamed it. I had a lot of fun. I would like to think that Frewy had fun as well. Kind of killed him a couple times, but I'm not gonna choose a gun game for my Game of the Year. I will definitely play it, but. Kina, Bridge of Spirits, she's probably gonna sneak into that top 3.
That's
go
ahead.
I forgot to mention this, and I can't believe I did because I was up till like 3 playing it last night. Age of Empires 4. Man, I fell in love with it again last night, even though I was getting my ass kicked because I am super rusty.
Sam, it's so good.
But man, I am super excited for that game. It comes out in November, and Game Pass, so woohoo! It's free. Yeah, man, I am very excited for Age of Empires. Probably won't be like a Game of the Year contender just because of the style of game it is. It's not like
It's comfort food, man.
yeah, exactly. Something I can listen to a podcast while playing, or watch a football game while playing, or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go with my honorable mentions. Redfall, if it still comes out this year, sits up there for me. Vampires co-op.
Wait, that's supposed to come out this year?
That's a 2020.
I thought it was. Did they delay it recently?
No, it was never announced. It's not announced for this year. Definitely.
Well,
not.
which one's coming? I thought it was coming out this year.
There's the Vampire Battle Royale that's coming out this year, I think.
No, I mean I conflated the two. My bad. But I'm excited for Redfall.
Same here.
Also, I was
Me too.
for Blood. Back for Blood is. I was gonna tie them together. My bad, guys. I was gonna tie them together, but I'm really excited for Back for Blood. Game of the year, if it hits the notes it's supposed to hit, in terms of keeping me coming back, and making it varied enough to not get super repetitive, and which it seems like it might be doing. So I'm really excited. The card system is really cool. I kind of wish Frewy were here because he'd probably have more to say about Back for Blood. I played the beta. I really liked it a lot. I didn't have much people to play with though, so those games are made or broken based off of the experiences you have with friends. So I mean that should be fun.
Yeah, I played that with him and two of my friends, and they all play gun games a lot more than I do. So they were constantly in danger because that has friendly fire.
I found that out really quickly, yeah. As I shot an explosive barrel and killed my team. Yeah.
I launched myself off a ledge doing that.
I shot some crows, and that did not end up well for our team either.
Oh, the birds! Never shoot the birds.
Yeah, don't shoot the birds. Forza Horizon 5 as a potential for me to be, I don't want to say game of the year, but a really damn good game.
I forgot to mention that, but I think that's a genuine chance of game of the year.
It may depending on the other things on my list that come out, because I really love Forza Horizon 4. I don't really like car games. I love Forza Horizon 4 for what it does for them, and so 5 just seems to be more of that. Gaff we need to play when it comes out. That'll be a lot of fun. Far Cry 6 was mentioned before, but I actually was one of the few people who played all the way through 5 and enjoyed most of the plot, honestly. If it weren't for being attacked 24/7 and being pulled away from what I was doing all the time. Like, combat is fine, but the random encounters they really need to dial back in 6, because that was just obnoxious in 5. And honestly made it like tiresome in some points. But I almost 100%ed that game with my brother, and I plan to do so with Far Cry 6 because they got the little wiener dog, they got the crazy weapons, they got what was his name? I can't remember.
Chorizo or something like that.
So, yes, yeah. They got some crazy vehicle customization, which looks really cool. And let's be real here, the story is not what you come to a Far Cry game for. They always try to be serious and funny at the same time, and it never works. Those games are about exploding everything, causing chaos, and really dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the cool-looking map and environments. And if this does all that, then it has a chance to sit up there on my top. Metroid Dread. I'm a big Metroid fan. I really wish this was a Prime, because I'm more of a Prime fan. However, this game has so much hype behind it being what it is. What is it, like 15 plus years this game was technically announced ago, right, Eric?
Something like that, yeah.
And they've been just holding on to that concept and idea and maybe like developing into different forms until finally they had an excuse to release it, because people really wanted Metroid Prime, so why not Metroid Dread? in lieu. Now that they combined the 3DS and Switch, like 3DS and the home platform on the Switch, right? So this is natural. It's coming here. I'm really excited about it. I watched a trailer, which maybe I shouldn't have because I spoiled a little bit for myself.
Yep.
I don't know. That one has a real potential to be my number one, honestly. Halo Infinite. What else? What else is to be said about that game? I really, really, really enjoyed the technical test. It made me feel like I was playing Halo 3 again with all my buddies, right? Even though I wasn't playing with my buddies. The combat feels rose tinted glasses now what I thought it was back then, right? And so everything's smooth, everything works the way it should. Yeah, I wish co-op campaign was here at launch so I could just dive into it with you guys. But I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play the campaign. I can't hold off. I can't avoid spoilers long enough to get to what is it? The first season or second season that is coming out, right? 3 months after. Forge is kind of a bit of a bummer. I've never been a huge Forge person, but Halo Infinite, if both the multiplayer, if the multiplayer builds on what I've seen, and it has the engagement that I need to keep me pulling back in from like the battle pass and things like that, which it seems to be. I'm in. I've always been a multiplayer person over campaign, so I'm playing day one regardless. But yeah, those are my potential games that game of the year.
I think we covered it all, wouldn't you say?
I'd say so.
Yep.
Despite technical difficulties, we pushed on. Well, this was a lot of fun, and I hope that we get to do this again with no technical difficulties.
Right. Next time we will be a little more prepared given our setups here. Liv, do you want to tell people where they can find you and Frewy doing your thing?
You can find Frewy and I on Between Two Gamers. We are a podcast on all major podcasting platforms, and you can find our hot, spicy takes on Twitter and Instagram. How about you guys? Where can we find X to Interact?
You can find us on Twitter at X to Interact _ if you really want to get technical. You can find us on TikTok. We have one, X to Interact. We also have a YouTube, and we post to pretty much every podcast service out there as an audio version. Occasionally record live on my personal channel, The Singer Bro, on Twitch. It's just kind of a thing we do as an added for people who tune in live. But yeah, that is us, X to Interact. It is me, Eric, Sam, and Gaff. And we do a weekly, I guess, catball gaming adjacent thing podcast.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys, for tuning in with us and hashing out Game of the Year content. We all played different stuff.
100%. I had a great time.
Psychonauts.
Psychonauts.
Life is Strange, True Colors.
Yeah, that's going to do it for our Game of the Year talks. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Liv, for joining. And you'll have to thank Frewy for us. It was great to have you guys. And we'll see you next time.
Yep.